Hello, poor people. How are you today? Very quickly, I'm going to explain a very important aspect of purpose. The reason this aspect is grossly underlooked is because of its nature. It's not detailed. There are no principle. There's no step one. There's no step two. It's largely abstract. So what we're going to discuss, if you pay attention clearly, if you implement the strategy associating with tonight's teaching, I guarantee you will have results. What we're discussing tonight is intuition. Intuition, a very unique aspect of purpose. Every single one of you likes to pretend they have no idea what they are doing, where they are headed, or I'm lost, I have no purpose. But in reality, you know exactly what to do, you know exactly where to go, you know exactly the voice that has been speaking to you to do X, but you choose not to do it. Why? You see, intuition leads you off the well worn path. When you decide to go with intuition, logically, you can't add up the steps you're taking. I recall one time at the infancy of my career, I decided to start a business. So the consecration demand at that moment would require me to read books, expose myself to content, broaden my horizon beyond my scope of reference, open my mind to possibilities, untrammeled. It might sound common sense to foreigners and to individuals who are of high intellect. But for someone who, from a global standpoint, his country is ranked third in a crummy part of society, so a third world country, in a third world place, in a third world city, the crummiest part of society is where I emerged from. I could not logically connect how reading books, submerging yourself to materials, engaging in intellectual discourse, trying to understand the cause and effect of geopolitics, how can I profit? And even worse, where would the capital come to start? It's good enough that you identified opportunities. You come with the latter part. Where would capital come from? You don't come from opportunity. You don't come from money. How would you establish the relationship? It was painful at first. What was more unfortunate was the fact this happened during my college years. For that reason, I could not find myself to do the things, to engage in the activities peasants come to college for. I found myself doing other things, investing in my destiny. And this investment will yield dividends years later. It is painful as hell to follow your intuition, to take a bet on yourself, try to do something that has never been done before. It got to a point where all my activities were intellectual and I was seeing little to no results. It was painful because I would envy other people. I would envy individuals who had more physical activity, like someone who has a job. His activity was more desirable than what I was doing. I was just getting smart, becoming knowledgeable. The profiting as touching that intellect was non existent. So imagine consecrating yourself for years, giving it your all, doing your single best, attacking life constantly, and the people you laughed at, the people you once started with, the guys you made those audacious statements to. Check me out in the next 5 years. Let's see who's more successful. And in 5 years to come, you bow your head in shame while they have made profit going the conventional route. It is painful to follow intuition. I had a friend who has the destiny of a football analyst. What this guy does is to get up early in the morning, shout in front of a screen, take notes, and submerge himself in the competition of football. If you observe that activity from an external standpoint, you would call him a fool. You're a full grown man, you're approaching 30, you need to get your life in order. Watching TV and taking notes is not profitable, especially in places like Africa where intellectual work is frowned upon. If you're not doing something physical, you're considered a fool. So if I say I'm busy, what your mind goes to is I'm working for someone or there's something I'm physically doing. Busy doesn't equate to mental activity, especially here in Africa. This is how destinies are lost. This is how people divert from the original path because it's not logical. It doesn't make sense. So the first thing to do in order to follow your intuition is to believe. Believe in yourself. Believe it's possible. Because at the end of the day, I recall one time where I gave it my all. I said, this goal is going to pay for my ex, pay for my rent, I stick my tuition on this goal. And you think the universe would back me up like some Nollywood movie. I would become profitable. Guess what? Exactly. And why the landlord threatened to push me out of the house and the school is calling up. If you do not pay your tuition fee, you're not going to write the exam. If you miss exam, you're most likely out. So while all of this was happening, I was in the middle of an implosion. Every single thing was going awry. This person is calling some medical bill. And I got down on my knees that day and I said, you would have to kill me than for me to give up. Because I sat as a professional. If I give up now, to what end? What profit? What do I gain from giving up? I lose my dream. I lose my goal. But if I persist, even if I don't achieve the end result, I'm still a better person. I still live with something. The journey, the process, what it made me become is profitable than the outcome. I've said it countlessly. Sometimes the goal or the outcome is not the goal, but the process is the goal. As always, my friends, it's a pleasure speaking to you. I'll see you in the next one.